So, let me start things off. I should say what you just saw was an excerpted version of the full 2.5-hour concert DVD, which comprises the first DVD of the set, yeah?
Yeah.
And the second DVD comprises fly-on-the-wall documentary footage, rarities, outtakes, things of that nature. But what you've just seen was part of the Royal Albert Hall show. One of the Royal Albert Hall shows, the full concert video is 2.5 hours. Video, he said, showing his great age. DVD. So what we'll do in a moment is I'll be taking some questions in a little while from your good selves. I will have to say that there is a slight proviso that those questions can only be taken from the stalls, not the circle, because the logistics of getting a mic up to you. Sorry. Oh dear. Oh dear. Simmering hostility and resentment already. But I think you'll, because the sheer logistics of getting a microphone to you will prove, I think, impractical. So we will be taking questions from the stalls, and we'll also be taking some questions in a moment that have been sent in previously to David. So can I start with a question of my own, though, David? And that is, does the film and did what we've seen, does that capture the essence of the night for you?
Definitely. I mean, I've never sat out front before and watched a concert. So it's fantastic to sit and do so, especially with those little Mark Brickman extras. Well done, Mark. Not bad. We thoroughly enjoyed it. It's really something I've sort of looked forward to for the last 40 years, is actually sitting out front and having something like one of the concerts. I'm up there usually.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
It looks okay.
Looked great. Sounded great. The team have done a good job, you know.
This question comes from Roger Little in Chelmsford in Essex, and Roger says, David, what made you pick up that first guitar and not give it back?
Well, he's I would have to say it was Elvis Presley, really. Jailhouse Rock really was the first moment that's made me go, I've got to do a bit of that. It was fantastic. It's true that I borrowed a guitar from my next-door neighbour who'd been given one by his mother, and I never got round to giving it back. He was not really very interested. I've still got it, actually.
You've still got his guitar? And he's here tonight.
Bill!
Great. That was from Roger in Chelmsford in Essex. Now, his question, I believe, we may well see the questioner themselves, but I will just say that it's John Green of Bath in Somerset.
Hello, David. How do you still get emotional impact into your live guitar work, even when you play the songs hundreds of times?
What John was asking was, how do you still manage to get so much emotional impact into your live guitar playing when you must have played these songs hundreds of times?
Well, you do most of the time, and there are moments when it's very, very difficult, but you just have to zone out, go into that space, relax, and when you've got a band as good as this band, you know they're going to be there for you, and whatever you do, they're going to be singing along with you, so it makes it very easy.
Is there ever a danger when it's a song you have played a lot that you can relax too much? Is that ever a danger?
Well, one has a safety net sort of thing of more or less how the original solos and stuff went on the record. I try to avoid going too close to that, but if that time comes along when the inspiration is not so great, you do have something to fall back on, and that makes you feel more confident and helps you just go for it. Shut your eyes, get in the zone.
We're going to see the next question and questioner as well. This is Chris Elric of Aberdeen in Scotland.
Hello, David. What 3 tips or tricks would you give to somebody that was starting out on guitar?
Well, David, as they say, the question was, which 3 tips or tricks would you give someone who was just starting out on guitar?
Buy a guitar.
Very.
Thanks, Guy. John.
Apparently that didn't stop you, though.
No, or borrow a guitar, preferably not steal one. I think copy everyone that you like for a couple of years, you know. Learn the bass parts, the rhythm parts, the lead parts of every song that you like, and after a while it'll start turning into your own thing, and that's when it'll start getting good. But
so unashamedly copy the people you love.
Absolutely, yeah. Don't try to be too original too quickly.
Question number 4. Ron Taylor, who is in Lytham St Antons in Lancashire. What Ron wanted to know was, if you hadn't been part of Pink Floyd, which band would you like to have been a member of?
Beatles.
It's a good answer.
They did well.
It's a good answer. You can't argue with it, really, yeah.
Yeah.
Always a big... were you a huge Beatle fan, a huge fan?
I was, yeah, enormous, yeah. Did learn everything. That's, as I said before in the previous question, learnt the bass part, the rhythm parts, the harmonies, the lead parts of practically everything they ever did up to a certain point, when I got too busy.
Nick Bell is in Leeds in Yorkshire. If you could go back in time, which song or guitar solo would you like to have written or played?
There's so many, it's very hard to answer. I think for me, about the perfect pop song is Waterloo Sunset by the Kinks, and I'd love to have written that. Absolutely great. Guitar-wise, maybe Albatross by Fleetwood Mac. Say what?
Oh, he's...
Well, you've got that in the catalogue already.
Yeah, yeah.
That wasn't the question.
A question I noticed watching that, or a question that occurred to me, how come you don't snap an awful lot of strings?
Change them regularly, or get someone to change them for me. Some nice gentleman back there to change them every night. And yeah, they just don't seem to. They must be made of better metal than they used to be in the early days.
The next question, again, I think we can see the gentleman who's asked this question. Brian Maher is in Kilcullen, County Kildare. No. Yes, Brian May says, how do you get that characteristic guitar sound? Brian Maher, I believe it is, of Kilcullen in County Kildare in Ireland. And, well, let's hear Brian's question.
What do you think changed between 1987 and 2006 that made Echoes work once again as part of your live set list? Did it just fit better with the On an Island groove, or was it deeper than that?
Definitely not Brian May, and with the haircut. But what Brian asked was, what do you think changed from 87 to 2006 that made Echoes work once again as part of the live set? Did it just fit better with the On an Island groove, or was it deeper than that?
Well, when we went out in 1987, and we did rehearse it and perform it a few times, but for me, it didn't quite work, and I never quite got to why it didn't work. But as I say, this band now that I have, that have done this tour with me, we did it in rehearsal, and it just slotted straight into place. Some of the young kids who were on that 87 tour have grown up a little bit. A little bit, I emphasize. They nailed it straight away.
It must be slightly daunting. But this may be a question for the band, but you must think this. It must be slightly daunting when someone comes along to play something like Echoes, which is such an iconic piece of music that every note of it is embedded in the people who love it, you know, memories and psyche. Lots of them here. They must think, blimey, you know, I'm going to have to play Echoes. It must be a daunting experience for them. Do you have any pity for them whatsoever?
None.
Good.
I have to.
Another question from Scotland. Thurso in Caithness in Scotland is where Ian Pearson is from. Ian's question.
What other types of art forms, such as painting, sculpture or theatre, do you find inspirational, such that it influences your creativity?
Well, I think you probably heard that, but what other types of art forms, such as painting, sculpture or theatre, do you find inspirational, such that it might influence your creativity?
It's very hard to say what directly influences you. I would have to say that it's none of those ones that he mentioned that you could pin down. There are books that I would think have been a more direct influence. The covers of a couple of which are in the DVD packaging, ones that are directly, slightly, or maybe a bit more, related to some of the songs on the album.
But generally, that's not the way you work. They don't come from that kind of background.
I think most inspiration is subconscious, and it just sort of picks itself up, clicks into your brain, and stores itself away quietly, and falls out again sometime later.
Adrian Kavanagh is in Birmingham, and Adrian's question is?
David, do you notice the lights and lasers on stage? And if so, do they put you off?
Adrian wanted to know, do you notice the lights and lasers on the stage? And if so, do they put you off?
Rarely. Mostly they're a bit behind me and I'm looking out, and what looks extraordinarily bright to you people out there doesn't look quite the same to me. But there are moments when you just have to shut your eyes and hope for the best. Our wonderful lighting director, Mark Brickman, out there, when we were in Gdansk doing the last show on the tour that we did, there was a moment where there was so much smoke on stage that people were crawling on the ground trying to find their various pedals and their amplifiers. We literally couldn't see 1 foot in front of our faces, and it was kind of impossible. And you could say we got a little bit put off, but it didn't seem to affect the whole thing too much.
It's something that right from the very earliest days at the UFO Club with the oil slides, the Pink Floyd, and then yourself, now as a solo artist, is very much associated with. And it's something, is it a tradition you think, well, I've got to carry it on now. People are going to come to a show and they're going to expect that stuff, you know.
When we started the rehearsals and putting the tour together, we were aiming for something smaller, more intimate. But like I say, we did invite Mark on board, and gradually more stuff got introduced, and it does help the vibe and the atmosphere. It's great. It's fantastic.
Chris Kelly, again, I think we can see Chris. Chris Kelly is in Belfast in Northern Ireland.
Your note bending is one of your distinctive trademark sounds. What inspired you to experiment with this method of playing?
Well, Chris's question is kind of linked in with the one I was asking you about the old string breaking, because Chris wanted to know, your note bending is one of your distinctive trademark sounds. What inspired you to experiment with this method of playing?
All those blues guys bend notes. It's just a matter of maybe sometimes bending them a little further. I have no memory whatsoever of where it came from, who I nicked it from, exactly where it came. I don't know. It's just one of those things that sort of developed into what I do.
But it is very much a characteristic of your guitar playing now, isn't it? Yeah.
If you say so.
Yeah. Oh. I think people probably agree with me. Yeah.
I thought they all did it.
Well, yeah, but you do it to a you know, it's integral to the way you play, isn't it? Really? No.
I guess.
A question from Berlin now. Heike Kriebel is from Berlin in Germany. Can you tell us a little bit about your favourite electric guitar and about the release of the new David Gilmour signature Stratocaster?
Well, Fender are very nicely putting out a black Stratocaster, which is very, very similar to my one, which isn't sitting right here. But they've done a great job, I have to say. The guitar itself I bought in 1970 in Manny's in New York, and I've changed the pickups and the necks, and I've gouged holes in it and changed the tremolo unit and put it back and put humbucker pickups in. I've done everything to it. It's been like a workbench, but it still seems to be my favorite. So
great. Again, we can see Peter. Peter Martin is in Larkfield in Kent.
David, your music is so powerful it can literally change the way I feel. What music that you listen to has the same effect on you?
Peter is saying your music's so powerful it changes the way he feels. What music that you listen to has that effect on you?
God, I don't know. All sorts of stuff throughout the years. Lots of my favourite artists have done that for me, but it's very hard to pin that down.
Would it be remotely similar to what you do, or would we be surprised, you know?
I guess you'd be surprised. I don't know what there is that's similar to what we do, and there are lots of things that other people bracket in with what we or I do, but I don't quite recognize it. I mean, I'm much more likely to be inspired and moved by something by Bob Dylan or Leonard Cohen or a number of other people than the ones that people think are like us. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Matt Lawrence is in Wokingham in Berkshire.
Hi David, my question to you is when you're away on tour, what 3 things do you miss from home?
When you're away on tour, which 3 things do you miss most from home?
Oh, I don't know about 3 things. When you're on tour, you're in a cocoon, you know, you're traveling around and you can't escape this little cocoon of all the people that is moving from one place to the other every single day. And getting home and just have that all fall away, and the feeling of space and fields and countryside that is the thing, you know. Can't do 3. It's one general overall thing.
You're not one of those people who, on a world tour, has to send home for, Coleman's mustard or the Daily Telegraph crossword or something like that.
Well, we take PG Tips tea bags with us.
Yes,
because
I thought there'd be something.
You can't get tea bags that are any good in America. So maybe Marmite.
Yeah, Marmite. That's another one. Yeah.
But yeah.
So basically, PG Tips, Marmite, and the English countryside.
That'll do it.
Okay, let's see if you've got some questions for David. Let me just look around. Let me look around and say, I'm trying not to do the automatic thing of asking the first people I see on the front row. So, madam, there's a lady there just by... that's right, the lady there waving. You will have to bear with us while a microphone comes to you, which it certainly will. It's almost unbearably exciting, this moment, isn't it?
Hi, David. My name's Anne Marchant from Exeter. Loved the Sid gig. It was amazing. And also the Live 8 gig. That was fantastic. Just like to ask what's on the cards next.
What's on the cards next? Well, I haven't got around to planning that. This thing has been pretty full-on and very, very time-consuming and has taken up every moment, every spare moment of the last year or 2. I just haven't got around to thinking of what's next. I'm not done with quite yet, though.
It's brilliant anyway. Thank you.
Another question. Gentleman there. You could have mine, really.
Hi, David. Peter Tattersall from Brixton in London, just up the road from the Ritzy, so that's going to be handy next week on Saturday. You mentioned Bob Dylan, Leonard Cohen, and of course they're fantastic lyricists, and I know that, well, for me, your lyrics, well, the lyrics that you sing have a huge impact, and I know that Polly Sampson is a huge part of those lyrics, and I really, really appreciate Polly's writing. I think she's a fantastic writer.
Me too,
yeah. Yeah, her books are just fabulous. Read them if you haven't got them. They're really good stuff. And you're on record as saying of yourself, I wouldn't say this of you as being pig-headed. I would, of course, say tenacious. Unless you disagreed with me, then I might call you pig-headed. But I just wonder, my question is about the creative process with Polly in terms of the lyrics, because I know you co-write them. What's that process like?
Well, God, this is a long explanation for that one. I mean, there's many different ways. Every different song comes out a different way. Sometimes there's a piece of music that Polly says, I would like to have a go at that one and write some lyrics for it. Sometimes she kicks me into starting it myself and then helps out as we go along. There's no hard and fast rule of how one enters into these things, but they are usually inspired by the music, and there is something that is stating itself within the music that Polly seems to get a grip on faster than I do. So.
Thank you, and I hope you don't mind, but I brought along a little gift for you and Polly. So
You're
I
very
don't have
kind.
much money, but my gift is my word.
Thank you.
To quote Elton John. Thanks.
Another question, please. There is a lady there in glasses.
Hi, David.
Hiya.
Abby from West Sussex. You've had a very successful career and been a member of one of the most renowned and one of the best musical groups in the world. What is it that makes you still strive to create music?
It's in my blood. It's something that I live and breathe every single day, whether I'm working or not. Music is something that gives me just fantastic joy and pleasure. And having had the luck to get where I am in this career so far, it seems churlish not to share it.
Are you all right up there, by the way? You're not finding this too hateful, are you? No? Another question, then. Let me look around. Where haven't we been? Lady there in blue. Yeah.
Hello, David. My name is Jean. I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio.
Hi.
Hello. Of the bloggers here, I think I've traveled the furthest to see you, and this is my first time ever seeing you. My question to you is fairly simple. 500 years, 1,000 years, if somebody looks up your Wikipedia entry or whatever they have then, what would you like the summary to say?
Do you ever look at your Wikipedia entry? Don't. It's probably full of mistakes.
There are mistakes. I have looked at it, but not recently. I hope it's accurate and honest. I don't know. You tell me. I'll be long gone. I won't be caring.
The neutrality of this article has been disputed by one David Gilmour. We'll just take a few more, I think. Right now, I think we should go right to the back. Now, at this distance, I think, and this is going to sound terrible, I think that's a lady, though, who's waving at me. Is that you? Hello? That's it. Yeah, can we get a microphone back there? I'm so glad it is a lady. If you see what I mean. You usurped the other lady I was looking at. So I think it's only fair that you pass it on in a second. No, you little roistered. No, you can go first.
Right. Go ahead.
No, you can go first. No, you can go first. But sure, and play nicely, like nice children.
Yes, sir. My name's Michelle. I'm from Reading originally. David, I was raised on your music by my dad, who's mostly telling me that a lot of the music that comes out nowadays is rubbish in comparison. If you had to do a cover of a song that's been released in the last 2 or 3 years, which song would you pick?
Oh, Crazy by Gnarls Barkley. We did it at Soundcheck a lot. It was great.
You do keep abreast of new stuff, don't you? Because I remember a couple of years back, I saw you playing at the Meltdown Festival, and one of the reasons I came along is because I was interviewing the American band Sparklehorse, who you had specifically requested were on the bill, who are not, by any means, a major world act, but they were the people whose music you liked, yeah.
Yeah, they've done a couple of great albums, very nice.
Yeah. So you do, stay across new stuff?
My children introduced me to it, I think.
Yeah.
I don't keep up so well myself.
Okay. Now, have you got your microphone now? Good.
Yes, thank you.
It's okay.
Hi, I'm Helen from Cambridge. I was just wondering, will you come and play Cambridge, please?
Well, as you can. How can you possibly refuse that?
I have no current gig plans, I'm afraid, so next time I go and do some concerts, we'll certainly consider Cambridge. It's a lovely city. I know it well.
You draw some previous, as they say in Cambridge, don't you? Yeah. I think we do need to be moving towards an end, but where have we not been? We've not been kind of in the middle there, and there's a gentleman, I think, and a lady, side by side there. Are you independent of each other, as it were? Yes? Madam, you ask the question that you want first.
Okay. Hello, I'm Angela from Germany. We've actually been to your... Guten Abend. We've actually been to your concert in Venice last year, also to the rained out one. And we met the wine glass player after the concert the next day. And I was just wondering how you got to meet him and to include him in the concert.
Yes, he was a great guy. He was from Siberia, and he played wine glasses unbelievably well on the streets of Venice. And Polly and I were walking along there one day, and we stopped to listen. And Polly said, "You've got to get him on stage with you tomorrow night." And I said, "You must be mad." And she said, no, you must, you must. So we did. He was a very nice guy. Igor Skilarov, he was called. And he played the wine glass intro to Shine On You Crazy Diamond with us on stage there in Venice.
And I believe he's in the DVD, isn't he?
He is in the DVD. You can see him. We had Gavin Elder, who did all the documentary making with us, and he filmed us meeting him and talking to him, and it's all in there.
I should say, because that is going to, I'm afraid, be the last question we can take, although not quite it. The DVD is available from September the 17th, 2 DVD set, 5.5 hours, crammed with extras. Thanks to all the people who've come this evening here in person. Thank you to all the people around the world, well, around Europe, who are watching this via the miracles of technology. And to the Radio 2 listeners as well, who can listen to all this again, or quite a lot of it again, at bbc.co.uk/Radio2. And, yeah, we've done that. We've done the DVD. And I think all that remains for me to say, before I scarper, is thank you very much to David Gilmour.